Right. This is not something that I woke up one day going, ooh, let's become foster parents. I went to work one day with 3 children, got a phone call, and came home to 6.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Because Adulting is Hard podcast. I'm Alita and I'm super excited to introduce my guest today. Go ahead and tell me who you are and what organization you're with.
I'm Kasuy Warren, and I'm the Advocacy and Communications Associate with CASA of Galveston County.
And I'm Lori Warren, and I am a CASA volunteer, and I've been a volunteer for almost 5 years.
So Casey, go ahead and tell me what exactly is CASA, because I know what CASA is because I've actually been a foster care myself as a child, and I've also worked in the foster care industry. But there's a lot of people that don't know what this program is, and I want you to explain that to them.
Okay, so CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. We recruit and we train volunteers to speak out on behalf of children in the foster system. So they're attending court, talking to judges, they're speaking out for their educational needs, making sure they're getting taken care of in school, making sure they're being taken care of medically, and then overall, we're making sure that they're happy, they're healthy, and they're safe, and that they have a good placement.
So when we began to talk about that, that's an interesting thing because you hear about foster parenting, but you don't really hear about this program as much, and it's not quite as day in and day out, right? So can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like when somebody becomes a CASA worker?
So when you become a CASA worker, you're appointed to one case.
Okay.
So that might be one child or sibling group, just kind of depends. And it's really kind of we say 10 to 15 hours a month because, sometimes you're going to court, you're visiting your child, you're talking with doctors and teachers and psychiatrists and therapists. You're just talking to all the professionals on their case. You're an information gatherer, but you're also building a relationship with that child. So you get the entire picture of what's happening in this case, so you can best advocate for that child.
And you're going to train me on that, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to help me. You're going to help me know what I need to do in that?
Yes. So we have a pretty in-depth training. It's about 32 hours. Okay. And that we teach you kind of the whole alphabet of acronyms because we don't expect you to be a professional doctor or a professional lawyer. You don't need any sort of background to be able to come in to be a CASA. We teach you all that during training.
And I love that. And you're basically staying with that child from the time. That's the whole point of it, is that you get one child or one sibling group and you stay with them even though they may change from placement to placement, correct?
Yes.
So your mom actually this is a mother-daughter combo. I love it. And we're actually neighbors. So I think this is even more personal to me because I see all the things that you do in our community. Talk to me about how you got to this point, because you have a long background in foster care.
Right. This is not something that I woke up one day going, ooh, let's become foster parents. I went to work one day with 3 children, got a phone call, and came home to 6. And how that happened was I have twin boys who were 16, and their best friend and his 2 sisters needed a place to live. The mother called, asked me if I would take the kids. I thought it was for the night, and here it is 13 years later in their hours. That is what is called kinship or fictive kin. It is something where you know the child, and they've asked you to take the child. CPS ran our background checks, came and did a home study, and pronounced us fit to be foster
because
parents.
There's actually more than one type. So fictive kin is one type. So basically you know the person, right?
Right.
Okay.
And it could be a soccer coach. It could be grandma. It could be a teacher. And that's why kinship is where you're actually related, and fictive kin was what we were. We were just friends. And then there are the foster parents that they're wanting to complete their family. Either they're unable to have children, or they're like, there's a spot missing, we can have another child. And then the third type is professional. Those are foster parents that this is what they do. They just have children in and out. And then there's the RTC facilities, which is group homes, mostly for teenagers, correct?
Mostly teenagers, because we've talked to, we were just talking with Kids Harbor last week, and teenagers are hard to place because they're, I mean, teenagers are hard to begin with, and then have a teenager that comes with a background. It's just a harder, and so they typically end in a group setting. And that, to me, that's one of the most important parts one of the most important places that we have a CASA worker to really help them with transitioning, because they are going to be adults and we want them to be productive members of where they are. So you have all kinds of things going on. How has this looked for you during the Rona, as I like to call it? Because I mean, it's got to be different, because I know that when I'm talking to my friend that's a doctor, the reports of child abuse and neglect are on the rise. I mean, that's, so I know that you pulled some numbers on that too. Talk to me about that.
So the top 5 reasons for removal in Galveston County is neglectful supervision. So from January, we've had 275 children removed for neglectful supervision. Physical abuse, we've had 66 children removed. Physical neglect, 41 children removed. Sexual abuse, 23 kids removed. And then abandonment or refusal of parental rights. And that's at about 17 kids. So that's kind of the breakdown. And that surprises a lot of people that neglectful supervision is such a big number compared to everything else. Because when you think about foster children, you think of, physical abuse and sexual abuse and all those really horrific cases. But it's really just, they're not being taken care of in the way that they need to.
And when school's not going on, that's a big thing, because neglect is a lot of times lack of food as well, is that they're not getting the 2 meals that they would typically get during a school day.
Sometimes it is the 2 meals, and sometimes it's mom and dad went somewhere else and left the 5-year-old at home.
Oh, right. Like just literally,
Right.
Hey, my 5-year-old can take care of themselves. Yeah, no, that's not a way that works. I know that there's a lot of things going on right now because we're in the Rona and you need volunteers. So talk to me about that. What do you need right now?
First and foremost is we need volunteers to be on these cases, to work with our children. So right now we have 134 advocates on 217 cases. So if you can think about that number gap, how many more people we need to be able to serve every single case that comes through.
Because ideally you like them 1-to-1. Ideally,
Yes.
you like them 1-to-1. So the number one need is that you need more people. We're going to hook the link up above so that you can see if you're interested in becoming an advocate. We would love you to push through this channel. Now, I know that you usually have a walk that happens. Talk to me about what's the purpose of the walk, and then how you're doing it a little bit differently since we are in the Rona still.
So the purpose of the walk is, first and foremost, is getting CASA out there. We're getting the need. We're letting our community know that, foster kids are in Galveston County. These are kids that you're seeing at the supermarket, on the playground. They go to school with your kids and they need help. They need advocates, but they also need fundraising. So this is also a really good fundraising opportunity for CASA, so we can, afford to have all of our advocates do this.
It's called a walk in, what is it called? A walk in your shoes?
So it's a walk a mile in my shoes. This
Okay.
year it's, walk a virtual mile in my shoes.
But I mean, that's important, because what you're doing is you're advocating to let people know what it looks like to walk a mile in one of these kids' shoes, and the importance of having these advocates in there to make sure that we're providing the futures. We're helping the future of
Right.
these children is ideally what we're doing. I am so grateful that y'all came on today. I think that it's a program that a lot of people could be involved in that want to be in foster care, but that don't necessarily want to be the day in and day out parent. So I appreciate y'all coming in, and remember to live happier, because adulting is hard, and we will see you next time. And contact us. Make sure to send me a personal message if you're interested in getting involved with these ladies and you can't figure out how to do that. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day.